Seth Rollins versus Gunther from WrestleMania. Pleasantly surprised, I'll say, considering how rough the build was, how lackluster the build was. I mean, at the same time, too, I feel like you could expect just any match between these two to be a banger, regardless of the build, and they made the most out of something that wasn't there. And a lot of people are torn on the whole Braun Breaker interruption thing towards the end. I think I liked it. It gave Gunther a reason to win. And I don't know, it advances a story. That's all I can really say about that match. It was fun. It did what it needed to do. It did more than it should have done, honestly. Next up, from AEW Dynasty for the AEW World Championship, MJF versus Kenny Omega. I do remember this match being long, but I don't think it was too long. I think it was just right. And, you know, Kenny Omega is one of my favorites right now, maybe of all time. MJF is one of my favorite in AEW. A great world champion. He had a fantastic championship run before Darby ended it. And this match was kind of like the pinnacle of that story. I loved so much about this match. It was so fun. It was a great story going into it too. And yeah, Kenny kind of showed that, or MJF showed rather, that he just has more in the tank than Kenny does. Next up, at number 5, from AEW Dynasty, the Young Bucks versus the Don Callis family, Okada and Takeshita. Any Young Bucks match, I'm throwing very high up. I'm a big fan of their style of tag team match. Every match of theirs, it's a Young Bucks match. And it always works. It is what tag team wrestling should be. It's more of a tornado match, which is way more fun than a typical tag team match. And throw in Okada and Takeshita, who's their dynamic kind of played into the heart of the story for this match. And it really made a difference towards the end. And you could see that evolve through the course of the match. And that's kind of what I want to see from a match, is give a start and finish to a story in that match, you know? Have some evolution, because a lot of matches, MJF versus Kenny Omega, for example, they're the length of a TV show, like a 30-minute TV show, so you should have an arc in that match. You can tell a whole story in that match. And I feel like the Bucks versus Don Callis family did that really well. Next up at number 4, from AEW's Dynasty, for the Continental Championship, Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay. Mox has been pulling out all the stops as of late. I think this is the best Moxley we've ever gotten, in my opinion. I don't know what it is, but his storytelling has been impeccable, and he's kind of been just in tip-top shape when it comes to in-ring performance. And you're putting him against guys like Will Ospreay, who can pull an amazing performance out of anybody, but it's not like Moxley is, you know, hanging behind in any of these matches. No, this match was spectacular. It was my favorite match of Dynasty. And yeah, it's number 4 on the list of April. Next up, from New Japan Sakura Genesis, for the IWGP Tag Team Championships, the Knockout Brothers versus TMDK. Knockout Brothers, they are a new shining light. I really love everything about them. I love every match that they're in. They just know how to bring some like sports entertainment to real fighting. And yeah, putting him up against TMDK, Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. was a great pairing, because Zack is such a unique wrestler when it comes, like he brings a lot out of wrestlers because of his very specific style. And then Oiwa is, you know, has just been so fun watching as of late. His come up since his excursion. And this match was kind of like, I don't know, it was just a really fun match that had kind of all the wrestlers going until they couldn't anymore. Next up, number 2 from Sakura Genesis for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, Yota Tsuji versus Callum Newman. My God, talk about being pleasantly surprised. Callum Newman is somebody that I slept on for so long, because he was the guy eating pins in United Empire. He was the scrawny guy who was fast, but he didn't amount to much. And so I kind of scoffed at a Tsuji versus Callum Newman match, but then I watched the match. I watched the entrance. I see the potential in Callum Newman as being an incredible world champion, and I hope they go down the route of like the shitty prince, because you could get a lot out of that. Him being somebody who just has his cronies do everything for him, when he gets into a match is overconfident, kind of like an MJF, but more whiny and with a faction. You could pull out some like Game of Thrones type stuff with Callum Newman, some like Lannister vibes from him, especially if you get into a feud with him and Ospreay. I hope they go down that route. I really hope they do, because you could pull out something really unique and special with Callum Newman. And this match was, just talking about the match overall, it was spectacular, really fun, really showcased Callum Newman's abilities, and had Yota Tsuji going the extra mile. I know a big fault for him has been stamina, but I think he really, pulled it together for this match, and all of it came out spectacular. Finally, at number 1 from WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. This is 100% CM Punk's best match. This is Roman Reigns' best match, at least at WrestleMania. I don't think I've watched all of Punk's matches in history, but this was, it had so much potential, and it met all of it, and I feel like it exceeded all of it. And all of it was exemplified with, in the end, Punk threw out one last punch that didn't even meet Roman, and Roman just loaded up one last spear to finish the job. I talked about it in the WrestleMania review that I did, but this, again, it kind of had like a rough backstory, or a rough lead up, but I think they pulled through. They really did. I gave this match 4.5 stars. It was spectacular. One of the best matches in WrestleMania we've had in a long time. And yeah, just amazing stuff from Punk and Roman. I thought they were both washed, honestly, at least a little bit. I know Punk, I'm always like pleasantly surprised when I see a fantastic punk match, which is more often than not. And I was worried about Roman's like slow, methodical style when he does his WrestleMania matches, but this exceeded all of that. I loved this match. Alright, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your favorite matches of April. Were there any on this list that you hated, or that you also loved? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.